Welcome, punters, to another episode of the Whispers Racing Podcast. It is All-Star Mile Weekend, Coolmore, up in Sydney. As always, I'm joined by Matty. How are you, Matty?
Very well, Worm. How are you, mate?
Good. Just getting my shit together. Didn't expect it to record so quickly, but we're off and running. That's the main thing. What a weekend of racing it was. Newmarket started early, late finish at Sydney. Good racing.
Yeah, there's lots of racing. As you said, early start, late start. So it was fun afternoon, fun morning. So it was a good weekend. I think the card in Melbourne was quite decent. How did you trend?
No, I was poor. It was tough going at Flemington. I thought it might have been, it was going to shoot a bit straighter, but it didn't. Cracking racing though with the Newmarket. Obviously, a bit of a rough result, but I think one thing we learnt out of Saturday was you never write off a good jockey because they just come back to bite in the ass when they're ready.
Mm. Yep, and as always, that grandstand side down the straights proved to be the spot to be.
Yeah. And if you're into like little omens, like Jamie Carr fell off a horse 12 months ago, was meant to ride a blue jacket horse and eat one. And yeah, there was planets were aligning on Newmarket for those omen punters. But no, it was good to see her smash it out of the park, I think, and good to see her back.
Indeed, indeed. She had an absolute ripping day.
Yeah, she did. This episode, we are going to preview race 2, Caulfield, Rosehill, race 3. We're going to talk about the All-Star Mile, bets around the grounds, the multi, pineapple of the week. I hand it over, which is, I think, death, taxes, and me just handing money over. We were with Amendable last week, and yeah, interesting. I thought it had every chance. I'm still don't know how Von Hawk, her 75 rater, beat us. But if you ask Mick Price, I think he gave some valid points, and Amendable might be worth following next start. Please, guys, if you are a first-time watcher, welcome. And all we ask for you to do is please subscribe to our channel via YouTube or any podcast platform. When we find you plenty of winners, please head over to Spotify and just rate our podcast. If you're a regular listener and you haven't done it, please head over there and do it for us, please. As you know, we're no paywalls. We're all free. We do it for the love of it. So all we do is ask for a bit of appreciation. It's just head over to Spotify and just rate us so we can grow this podcast to more and more people, which we are doing each and every week. So if you are a regular, we really appreciate you tuning in each and every week to hopefully finding more and more winners. Also, we run a WhatsApp group, so DM one of us, we'll put you straight through. You guys know the drill. If you're thinking of joining, come and join. It's good little team. Party, footy's kicking off, plenty of bets, NRL, you name it. It's just absolutely flying. Talking points, we're not going to do any this week. We're going to roll straight into it because I think it's a big card and I've got plenty of bets, so I want to get stuck into it. I just want to bet now. Track stats, rail out 6 meters on Saturday for All-Star Mulder at Caulfield. Stats tell me lanes 1 to 3 won't be the place to be, winning at only 6%. Lanes 4 to 7 will be the A ground at Caulfield. Definitely to watch and act because it's been a semi-warm week. So it'd be interesting to see how Caulfield plays. But the stats don't lie. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. Rosehill, I'm hearing there's up to 12 mils of rain today and tomorrow. So if that's the case, lanes 1 and 2 will be a no-go zone, and lanes 4 plus is going to be the A ground. So definitely watch for Rosehill. It must be autumn time because it's raining in Sydney. I'm going to preview race 2, Caulfield, and I'm going to get stuck into it because I just want to. I reckon I found one at a good price for the team here. Speed map here will be solid here with An Ambassadorial. We know he only likes it one way, and that's leading. Sox Nation probably will sit outside lead. I couldn't see him really contesting Ambassadorial. Fist of Fury will hold the rail, camp behind the leaders. Awesome lineup. Should find a perfect spot sitting behind Sox Nation, especially in this field. There should be no horses 3 wide, no cover. I think with a small field, I think every horse is going to find its spot with the 1,600-meter start. It's I'm happy to have some value here in inexorable. We'll go with that. Number 6, inexorable. July last year was in a Vobis race just like today and sat 3 wide, no cover over the 1,400 at Caulfield, which is a no-no. We know that. SP'd $6 against Molly Nickers. We know how that horse is travelling. First up, Kyneton, this prep, sat 3 or 4 wide, no cover. Only went down by a pimple, deserved to win, but just sat 2 wide, and you can't be doing that at Kyneton. Then went to Bendigo, got the perfect run, got the perfect spot, second up. Fifth in that race was Porter, who absolutely pissed in at Ballarat on Monday. So I'm thinking from barrier 2 here, D Lane on board. He likes to sit nice and handy. Best case, I think he sits outside leader. Worst case, he'll sit behind the leader. The speed map I've done is just off recommended early speed. So D Lane, I think he'll use his initiative here and sit real handy. At $11, I think it's a bet we can have, especially in this field. Fist of Fury, I think he's the clear danger. Beat Autumn Angel back in September last year. That reads real well from what Autumn Angel did. First up was just a run. Second up, I thought it's 4.5 lengths second to Another Will. Look better than it reads. I'm just worried it might be a shit watch from barrier 1. If Jai overcomes that, I think it can win. Sox Nation, been up since November, and last start, I think it had all the favours and the bias at Caulfield and got smashed by 4.75. I know it comes back 200 metres, but I think I'm going to be keen to take this horse on, especially at $3.10. I think that's a touch poison. But small field, I'm happy to take a piece at $11 of Inexorable. Matty.
Very nice, Worm. I'm going to back you in there too because I can make a case for a few of these, but there's no clear horse for me in this field. So, mate, quite happy to find some value, double figures in a small field. D Lane to get us going from barrier number 2.
Yep, and he's leading the jockey premiership, which is no surprise. Him and Shin have just classes above these other jockeys. Matty, race 3, Rosehill.
Yeah, mate. We'll head up to Sydney, and I reckon there's a good bet just to see if there's going to be any rain. I think they're expecting between 0 and 10 mil, which generally leads towards not too much rain. Generally, the forecast up there is between 20 and 30 mil, so I don't actually think it's going to be too bad. Mate, have you got the odds for us there in race number 3?
I do, mate. Favourite is Fly, 340 top odds. Castagna, the Richmond players, $3.55. Catu Miraval, $4.20. Drifting, $7. Toto Car, $14. Southern Charm, $17. You can have 20 plus the rest.
Perfect. Thank you, mate. Yeah, George Castagna, we'll have a look at him first. $30, barrier number 2. Zach Lloyd on board. Won the listed Lonro and really hasn't done too much wrong over the 1,000 metres. Look, I can't really fault the horse here. 2 starts, been very solid. Fly, I think definitely needs to be in the conversation as well. Ran second to Manal. Maps exceptionally well here and didn't map so well last start. So I think here you're going to find it's much better suited. So I think realistically, the 1,200 metres, it's already been out of that distance. I think it's going to be a huge advantage for this horse. Look, drifting, not bad form lines when you find horses home like Bold Bastille. But look, I think it's going to find a little bit of improvement here. Chateau Miraval, solid runs, and suggest it'll probably be near the pace here with Timmy Clark on board barrier 3. I kind of expect it to get forward. Well, you're saying that if we do have any rain, you probably don't want to be on the rail. So interesting to see how they do go in race number 3. The only other one worth mentioning from my point of view here is number 9, Canara, Waller, and Kieran McAvoy. Just a different form line. to what we've been seeing with some of these other horses we've mentioned. And at $21, form line around Storm Boy, Traffic Warden, that could be the different form line that we see something blowout odds get over a few of these others. So they're the ones that I think need to be in consideration. We might have landed on Fly Fly. I think from barrier number 5, it's a big advantage for this horse. Been out at 1200 already, and I think it will be able to get past horses like Castagna, like Drifting in a field like this. Really interested to see how Canara does run. I think you probably have something quite small on it. But for me, Worm here, Fly Fly, I'm quite keen to play. How did you see this one?
Mate, it's like you've stolen my notes here because I 100% agree with Fly Fly. It is on my top. I watched it last start and wow, how it hit the line is amazing. And that was from an outside barrier, now jaws middle. Perfect spot from 5. We'll find the lanes. Jason Collette in the wet. Tick, tick. And yeah, I was going to mention Canara is a bit of a roughie with a few strong form lines, and you've stolen my thing here. And we got a line there. He's going to be a little play as well. The only thing with Drifting is I don't like horses 1,000 up to 1,200. It's just a big risk to take, especially 2-year-olds. Even though Bold Bastille's probably going to be the right form lines for this. I don't know. He's the one don't know. A barrier 11. Oh, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, you've stolen the show, mate, and 100% agree. Fly, Fly, and Canara.
Very good. Well done.
All right, All-Star Mile, mate. One thing I will say about it, I know there's been a lot of talk this week about how shit it is, and I agree, it is a shit field. I don't think voting would have changed it. I think we would have just got shitter horses. Hearing Matt Welsh on radio this week, he spoke about it needs to be looked at because a lot of the horses they invited didn't want to come because Brightside was in it. Pride Jenny was going to run him into the ground, and there was bigger fish to fry up in Sydney. And yeah, so I think Racing Victoria have got a bit of searching to do to make this work because this could fall by the wayside very quickly if they don't get their act together, which is a shame. It's not their fault. It's just the way Greg Carpenter set this up, and Matty Welsh and his team have had to wear this and support it. So it'd be interesting to see what they do next year, how it all plays out.
Yeah, look, I understand the criticism, mate, but you actually go through the field. It's not that bad. Yeah, it's not a Cox Plate like field. Similar to some of these lead up races to the Cox Plate that we did see last year with Mr. Brightside in the field. But realistically, as we go down the field, it's still a fairly strong field, and I think a few of these horses have been forgotten about. In saying that, it just demonstrates that previously Sydney haven't been competitive with their prize money. Now that they are, the Melbourne clubs need to think about how some of these races during the autumn do actually play through to some of the bigger races up in Sydney.
Yep, 100%, mate. And yeah, they've got some thinking to do. I wouldn't be surprised if it just doesn't come back. It's done. This is probably the last year. That's my gut feel, but another gut feel tells me they'll go down the slot page. And yeah, it'll be like the Everest, but for 1,600 meters. So let's see. All-Star Mile group. Well, it's not a group 1, but it's 1,600 meters. Runner by runner, Matty, you happy with that?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll start with Mr. Brightside. He's obviously our favourite at around $1.80, $1.90. Your thoughts?
Mate, I want to get your thoughts on barrier number 11. Any issue?
Mate, I think it's a big issue. I think it's a big talking point. There's a lot of factors that we're not thinking about here, and I'm happy to bring him to the table. This horse will miss the kick. He'll be slow out. yes, Pride of Jenny's and Buffalo River are going to space him, but I don't. He hasn't got the tactical speed to find a spot. 1600. By the
Mm,
time he finds his feet, it'll be turning. So you don't want to be 3 or 4 wide. You need to be in a spot, nice 1 or 2 wide, and I think you'll be near last.
yeah, I didn't have him too far off that. I probably had him a few further up ahead of a couple, but yeah, I kind of had him up in a similar spot. Look, I mean, Mr. Brightside has run around Caulfield before plenty of times. Craig Williams on board, the best miler that we have within this country. Uh, so definitely the horse to beat. I am very concerned about the barrier, but I'm sure the Hayes boys, plus also Craig Williams, would have been thinking about a bit of a plan, and maybe they do take him back. I wouldn't have thought to last, but maybe they do find themselves in around ninth or 10th, so they do find some cover.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I
Well,
think,
did you see Brightside?
yeah, for me, the $1.75, $1.85, I'm happy to take him on. I'm probably going to push the pink button if he's still under $2 come race time because I just don't like his map. I know I'm crazy. He's our best miler, and I love this horse to bits, but it's just purely a map bet for me. 3 or 4 wide, 1600 is not ideal at Caulfield, especially what can happen in this speed map. If there's any indications of them rolling forward and they can sit third or fourth, it'll be a gap job. But yeah, for me, it's a no. I know I'm going to regret it. So we'll move on to number 2, Cascadian, barrier 7. He is $14 top odds.
Yeah, really nice second up run here, Worm. I thought it was quite impressive after probably being a little bit disappointing first up. So, look, is it a winning chance? I don't necessarily think so. Is it going to improve third up? Yeah, I think it will. So, from barrier number 7, Benny Mallum on board, I think it definitely needs to be in the multiples consideration, but I don't have Cascadian as a winning chance in the race.
Yeah. Look, second in last year's All Star Mile, cut the corner. I think they're going to do it again. I know barrier 7 is, they could probably use it if they wanted to, but they won't. They'll leave him for one last run. He's probably going to see more rear ends than the winning post. So I love this horse to bits. And I think his second up run was really, really good, especially that last 100 meters. He hit the line well. Form around Think It Over Fangirl Lindemann. I think that's a big, big tick. Deserves. I think the price is a bit of overs at $14, but you're going to be betting on luck than anything. Number 3, Attractable Barrier 2, $34.
Yeah, the stable gets this horse ready for the big races. So again, I expect it to improve, but may find this a bit of a stretch. So I'm happy to look past Attractable here.
Yeah, he was weak late in the Apollo first up. Yeah, he gave not much. Not a horse I can recommend. I think 34s is poisons and should have a 0 on the end. Number 4, Munamek, barrier 10, $51.
Yeah, look, it's at last in the Futurity Stakes last start. Look, it's best. It can definitely run a race against a field like this. However, I don't necessarily know if we're going to see its best from barrier number 10. I don't really know how many options that Mark Zara is going to have. So, look, I can't tip anyone into Munamek here. Worm?
Yeah, no, 100% agree, mate. Look, I think they've known for a while they're going to be at this race. So if you do like it, third up, it's going to be peaking. Yeah, I don't like its Gold Rush win against Bustler, who was fourth, and he went like an absolute busted 2, 3 weeks ago in Melbourne. So yeah, he's a pass for me. Number 5, Dom to Shoot, barrier 12, $46.
Yeah, Dom to shoot. I spent a bit of time on Dom. The listeners would know that bit of a horse that I don't mind to follow. Don't necessarily like Dom to shoot from barrier number 12. We've seen it from White Gates before. Doesn't necessarily have that pace out of the barriers. So I think Damien Lane again is probably going to need to take this horse back somewhere to the rear of the field. It's going to get one chance, and I think it'll be running on, but it's going to need a lot to be winning this race. But from a ratings perspective, definitely not the worst rated in the field at $46. Worm, how did you see this?
Yeah, I agree here, mate. If you go back to its northerly Group 1, it beat Zaki. Zaki would be probably $3 in this race if it was running in it. Um, I think he was ridden upside down last start, sat third and second. I don't think he likes that too much. I think midfield is his go. He's obviously going to be worse than midfield near last, so he's going to get the ride that he wants. I think $46 is worth including into your multiples or same race multis. Buffalo River, barrier 9, $35.
Yeah, mate, just eyeballing Pride of Jenny. We'll see how long for. Being very consistent, running 3/3 in its 3 starts this preparation. Look, to what you said before about Mortimac, I think Buffalo River, they would have known that it would have been running in this race for a little while, and I think they've got it rock hard fit to get it across 1,600 metres. So I think, again, it's going to be around the mark. Just depends on how much pace it and it and Pride of Jenny actually do set. Maybe across the last 150 metres, Buffalo River might just get found out and a few might run over the top of it. Worm, how did you see it?
I- I'm a bit different here because you watched the first up run when Pride Jenny was in the race. They took a sit off Pride Jenny. They just let it go. They tried to hold Buffalo River up the first 800 meters, I reckon, just to, let him just conserve that energy. And then the last 800, they let him go and roll. I think that'll happen again, and they'll probably sit second, trying to run their own race and be the actual leader of the race. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it does in my head. But yeah, look, he's going super. I'd love to own him. He's going to run it. He's running third to Mr. Brightside and only going down by under 3 lengths most of the time. So he's probably one you're going to have to chuck in your same race multis if the bias is looking good at Caulfield. Pinstripe, number 7, barrier 1, $41.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know you can, or you don't know if you can say that it's drawn a barrier, but this is its first barrier that hasn't been in the car park in a long time. So long, it was the 19th of August in 2023 when it actually ran second to Brightside over 1,400 metres in the Lawrence Stakes at Caulfield. Now, on that day, kind of sat in the field. What I'm expecting here from Pinstripe is to be pushing up against or on the back of horses like Pride of Jenny and also Buffalo River. From there, I think it's going to have every chance to be peeling off and actually getting into those lanes that you mentioned up front, Worm, that you want to be in. First up, really good form. 2 wins, 2 seconds. I think Pinstriped is a little bit of the forgotten horse in this field. So one that I will definitely be taking a bit more attention of. How did you see Pinstriped here, Worm?
Look, I'm gonna absolutely wipe its McKinnon and Cox Plate run. It's not a 2,000 meter horse, so scrap that. And now, if you look back at this horse, second in the Lawrence, beaten 1.75 to Brightside. Then it won the Fian, that was the qualifying into the Cox Plate. In that race was Tuvalu. Then it went to the Toorak and got beaten 2.9 lengths to Attrition, Antino, Amendable. So I think the current price at $41 is absolutely ludicrous. Should be around 20s, and he'll be going in all my same race multis and exotics for sure. I think he's a genuine chance at that price. Number 8, Desert Lightning, barrier 8, $23.
Well, mate, all I've got here is it ran third to Le Creek last start. So, Worm, you're going to have to fill us in on this horse, please.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I watched its Elsley run. It was nice. I know it beat Legato, but Legato got rolled last start 7 days ago. Fourth was Holy Man's in that race. I don't know if it's the right. Uh, Last start, found the front, just got found wanting in a real yucky race. They were down the middle of the track, inside was off. Yeah, I can't recommend, but $23, I think that's the wrong price. It should be $46. Number 9, Anton, barrier 5, Jamie Carr, $12.
I can't knock Jamie Carr whatsoever, but I can't be tipping anyone into Ayrton here. It's going to need to improve quite dramatically to be featuring in the finish, but quite comfortable to move past Ayrton Worm.
Yeah, he was a little bit unlucky. It was a hard watch for punters in the Blamey. Yeah, I think he's a better horse fresh. I could be wrong. I'm never going to knock Jamie Carr like this. Wouldn't surprise me if he won, but we've all got an opinion here, and my opinion is I don't think he can win. Number 10, Puntura, $126. Matty.
Yeah, well, 2 starts back, one in New Zealand, Trentham, over 1,600 metres, and finds itself in a Group 1. Well, not a Group 1, but over 1,600 metres, paying 126s. So, yeah. Look, last start in that Le Creek race wasn't anywhere near them. So, going by the form lines and the lack of interest in the market, I suspect that it's probably one we need to move past unless you can talk us into it, Worm.
What I will say is not $126 hope. I think he's more 60s to 50s. Forget about last start. His best racing's when he rolls forward. I know he's probably not going to find the roll forward position, but sits third or fourth. That's fine by me. Probably doesn't have the right form lines, but yeah, definitely scrap last start. This horse was running up in Brisbane back in 23 in the Brisbane Carnival. So if you want to tie some form lines, there's a few there with Munamek and Character in a few listed races when it came down. 2 lengths off Irish Song in a Tab Glasshouse. So yeah, probably be $60 chance, not 126. We're up to number 11, Holy Man's barrier 3, Blake Shin, $35.
Look, it pushed the tissue last start,
Mm.
which I found a little bit surprising. I wasn't expecting to see that first up. And look, first up, second up form seems to be fairly decent. Blake Shin on board from there at barrier number 3. It's going to get a pretty good map, you'd expect. Like sitting up near the speed, so you'd imagine it's not going to get any further back than 5th. And if it runs out the 1,600, it's definitely not the worst for your second and thirds within the multiples. Worm.
Yeah, it's just a flat no for me. Can't have it. Nice run last start, but I don't think I've given Anton no chance. I've got to give Holy Man's no chance as well. I think it's the wrong form lines, even though a tissue won. Number 12, Pride of Jenny, barrier 6, $3.80. Second favourite.
Yeah. Look, it's very much going to depend, Worm, on how fast Mr. Brightside wants to push these horses along. So, look, we saw last spring that this horse just found another level to go to, and it looks like it's come back in similar form. Was really good in the CF4 Stakes, only running second to Mr. Brightside, as we saw. So, look, you'd imagine Map's better here than what Mr. Brightside does. Only lost by pretty much a head. So you'd imagine the 380. A lot of people are going to find that attractive. I'm not sure that I can take 380 with Mr. Brightside in the field. I don't necessarily know if Mr. Brightside, even though it is the best miler in the race, it's definitely got a lot to overcome. Pride of Jenny is going to be on pace, doesn't need to really overcome much. The only thing it needs to overcome is Buffalo River and what type of pace it's going to set. So, Worm, I can see how a lot of people have found Pride of Jenny, and I think a lot of people will be finding Pride of Jenny on the day. Yourself?
Yeah, there's a bit unpack here. Form wise, I think it's got the right form. Pushed Amelia's Jewel in the stocks last year. Wrong part of the track in the Toorak handicap. It was stuck on the rail when the winners came down the middle. Then Empire Rose and Cantala wins. Now, a lot of people saying it was wind assisted. Yes, there was wind. First it was a down breeze, it suited it. All the talks about that, but it still did the job. So you got to factor that in. The great run. I thought he was gone at the 200, but through the line she was strong again. Had a jump out since, nice little tick over. For me, $3.80 is the right price, and I think it's going to firm, especially if there's any bias on the day. I don't know which horse they come for to make it a betting race. I think this is the only one they will, if there's any, on pace bias for this horse. Declan Bates knows how to ride it. I think this has been their plan all along. Yeah, I think he's the top raider, and he goes on top for me. And yeah, Matty, if you're spending 100, how are you spending it?
Well, mate, I'm definitely looking for value here, Worm. I'm 100 will be going a Quinella, pinstriped Mr. Brightside. Let's go 50 on that. And then we'll go $25 on pinstriped to win, and $25 on Dom to shoot to win.
I like it. I'm going to have $10 on Dom to shoot and pinstripe, both of them 50s and 40s. That's 20, and then I'm going to have the 80 on Pride of Jenny to win at top at the moment, $4. That's crazy. Yeah, as I said, Mr. Brightside, it's just purely a map thing. He doesn't know how to win by big margins. He's always winning by small, bit like Animo, and he was a champion. So yeah, it's just hard for me to take the $1.75, $1.85 at the moment, considering the map. And yeah, but Craig Williams, he'll find a way. So I'll probably have egg on my face very shortly. Any final thoughts on the All-Star Mole, Matty?
No, mate, I think we covered that off quite well.
Beautiful. Around the grounds, you go first, Matty. You find us some winners.
All right, mate. We'll start off race 1 in Caulfield. I think Carini very short, about $1.90 at the moment, but I think it's a standout within this race and will be included within my multis. Head up to Rosehill. We'll be going race number 4, Gatsby. It looks really impressive. First up win, exceptional. And I think this is a horse within this field that's got a strong future. So quite happy to be with Gatsby. We'll jump to race number 6 at Rosehill. Timmy Clark on board Omni-Man. So I think it'll go forward. Really good run just behind Red Card, which is also in this field. I think it's probably the horse that it needs to beat. But at $7, quite happy to be with Omni-Man, Worm.
Yeah, mate. One thing I will say about betting around the grounds, there is a lot of horses on Saturday that I'm keen to put a pen through and take them on. So be part of the community of, yeah, quite scary. Some of these odds that have come up. There's a few horses with bar plates on. First time going around Sydney. So want to find out, let me know. Join the community because I'll be pushing the pink button all day Saturday. That's for sure. I've got 2. Rosehill Race 3, number 3, Fly. I've got to mention it. It's just a clear bet. We've spoken about it before. There's nothing more to add, but it will go well. Also, race 6, number 13, Rainbill. I backed this horse last Saturday. Got back in the run, hit the line well. Might be its racing pattern to get back, but from barrier 6, if they can sit no worse than midfield, it can win. It's $12. I'm happy to go 1 by 3 because this horse is absolutely flying without any whatsoever luck. Race 10, Rosehill, Matty. Have you seen the field? I'm just a bit worried you haven't mentioned it. Is that coming up later or?
Mate, look, if I'm allowed to include horses under $2, then we would definitely be including it in the next segment. But no, Tabby, man, and you did send me a text that we missed it in the midweek race up in Newcastle. I was only paying $1.40 though, so we didn't miss too much.
better than fucking mortgage repayments at the moment, mate. Just wanted to double check that you saw it and it's in your mind because I'm $1.80's a pass for me. All right, multi-time. I'm going to throw in Gold Coast to beat Adelaide. They don't have a forward line to kick a winning score with a few outs of Phil Thorpe and Tex Walker. So Gold Coast at $1.50 or $1.60. And the other one, I've had to change on the run. Pride of Jenny, the place, $1.45. Matty, your ones you're putting in.
Yeah, heading up to Hill, race number 4, Gatsby to place. Race number 6, Omni Man to place.
Cool. Gold Coast to beat Adelaide. Pride of Jenny and the All-Star Mile to run of Drum Place. Gatsby race 4, Rosehill. Omni-Man, the place race 6 at Rosehill comes to $6.50. So that is beautiful. Pineapple, Matty, I'm really keen to see where we're heading here because this could be new territory.
Mate, it could be because looking through the cards, both up in Sydney and also in Melbourne, there are a lot of short-priced horses, especially around the horses that I don't mind across the weekend. We mentioned one in Carini, who's in race number 1. What I want to do, Bold Bastille is running in race number 6. We're actually going to put Bold Bastille and Carini together for around about $3.
We're going to put a third
if
one
we're
in?
allowed to double those up.
Yeah.
Wow. If we want to add some value, we can also add Tabby Time. So I think those three,
Yep.
the three I'm very confident on, that are currently under $2 over the weekend. So what does that get us to? That'll get us to about $4.50.
100%, mate. Yep. Let's do it. I'm happy to break new records. Me going
Well,
singly doesn't get it over the line, so we might as well go with your multis. You're more chance of snagging it than me.
all right, mate. We'll include those three. So Carini, Bold Bastille, and our favourite Tabby Time.
Tabby Time. That is awesome. I'm just looking it up now. Give us 30 seconds. Not even. We are
I
currently
think Tabby was about
looking
$1.80.
$5 for
Beautiful.
that 3-legger. So probably deductions will come in, but that's fine. Pineapple on Carini, Old Bastille, Tabby Time. Any final thoughts on a massive weekend of racing, Matty?
It is. Good racing both in Melbourne and also Autumn Carnival in Sydney. So fingers crossed we don't get too much rain up there, and fingers crossed that it stays like that for the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, 100%. Get involved, punters. Stay tuned. Big 6, 7, 8 weeks from us coming up. Plenty of winners. Hopefully we found a few of them today or tonight for the weekend. And go well. And we'll see you next week for Australia Cup Day.